we've had already thousands of teachers contribute to this review process. It's been underway for almost 2 years. There was an interim review that talked about a lot of these concepts that came out about 6 months ago. So we know that this is something that the teaching profession are aware of. What we need to do as part of these reforms, and in fact quite a few of the recommendations talk about that, is we need to have the professional development that goes alongside that. We need to look at how stakeholders are engaged in terms of the implementation of the new curriculum, piloting these changes in their classroom. So this is absolutely reform that we will do hand in hand with our teachers, with our principals and our school communities, because we're all in this together. We need to be, because it's in the best interest of our students, and we will work closely with the teaching profession as part of this.
Teachers that maybe teach art or teach puppetry, where do they go?
Well, we're still going to have the same mandated core subjects that we already have. I mean, if there's a teacher teaching puppetry, for example, at one of our schools, that's a board-endorsed course that runs for a few hundred hours for each student towards the end of their schooling career. They're already employed to work in other areas within the school. But again, it's about looking at, well, what are the particular needs of the student? What is that puppetry course or that wearable art course, or there's a list of them that we're looking at. How can we then refocus that back into other areas that actually lead to a level of attainment, something that can help them post-school, still a subject area that they enjoy, but also that gives them some kind of credential that they can use when they're no longer at school.
ATAR, is that now, any changes to that off the table, or is that something that you'll still be looking at?
Yeah, so that's one of the recommendations around ATAR from Professor Masters, is that the school systems should work with the universities and the University Admissions Centre to consider ATAR and the way that it's reported. That is a recommendation that we have noted. It is outside the terms of reference that were originally given to Professor Masters, because obviously ATAR is set separate from the school system. It's not something that we have direct control over in terms of how that is calculated. But we have said noted for that particular recommendation, because it is important to look at things like ATAR if we're looking at Year 11 and 12 subjects, trying to break that dichotomy exists where students feel that they need to either be on an academic path or a vocational path. If there are ways that we can improve that, work with the universities and TAFE and other providers for micro-credentials, more opportunities for school-based assessments and traineeships. It's really exciting reform, and it needs an overhaul. Certainly conversations around ATAR can be part of that, but I think that needs to happen separately to the work that we're doing in the classroom.
Courses that are being cut around 20%, I understand, are they going to be replaced with new courses, or are they just going to be absorbed into other fields, or how are you going to put more focus on sort of those more technical vocational skills rather than those creative aspects?
Yeah, so the courses that we want to cut in those school-board endorsed courses are about limiting the number of those. So as I said, students can then be directed into other areas of pursuits that still interest them, but also give them that opportunity for some sort of accreditation when they leave school as well, rather than it just being something that they do because they enjoy. We think it's important that there is some output from those courses in a way that doesn't exist now. In terms of general decluttering of courses, we have said that we do need to see across all of our syllabuses less content. It's a very, very clear response that has come back through this review. I think almost universally everybody who spoke to Professor Masters about it has said there is too much clutter, there is too much content, it has crept in over the years. We need to pare it back, we need to free up the time for teachers to teach in the classroom on those core concepts. So it's important work, and it needs to start straight away.
You mentioned that you want us to be the best in the world, but to quote you said we've still got a long way to go. What has concerned you about our performance compared to other countries?
What has concerned me, it's not so much necessarily the standards that we have when children are leaving school, but the unmet potential. We have the potential to do so much better in key areas, and we do need to focus on those core competencies. We know in the digital age in particular, maths and science will be leading to many different career options in the future. We know that English and literacy is so critical for a student's capacity to learn and actually change careers during the course of their lives. So it's about raising standards across the board. It's about making sure that we allow every student to reach their full potential, and selfishly that means we have a stronger New South Wales, a stronger Australia, because they can contribute in different ways to our future. We know that in the future there'll be enormous competition and for the best jobs. We want those jobs to be in New South Wales, and we want them to be filled by our students who come through our education system, and this is about setting us up for the future. And let me say, we have a great system. We have a system where people can reach their full potential. I went to a public school and I managed to get through the system and reach my potential, well, some would argue, but my potential. And I want every child to have that opportunity. So please know that we're starting from a good foundation, but there's so much more we can do to be better. And just decluttering the curriculum, when the Minister and I stumbled across all these subjects that are there, it means they're taking up room. There's less room for those core competencies. There's less room for those things that are really going to help our young people get those jobs or do that future learning, whether it's through a TAFE course or through university. And it's really important for us to get those pathways right. But equally, what Professor Masters' review found is that in those early years, in K-2, it's so important to have those basic literacy and numeracy competencies set up in a simple way, and that should be the focus of the curriculum, not all this other stuff that's kind of crept in over the 30 years. And so it's really an opportunity, groundbreaking opportunity for us to turn the system on its head, to allow every student to be their best, but also to free up teachers. Teachers need to spend less time on paperwork and more time teaching in the classroom in those core areas which they know are going to make a difference to the lives of their students. And we're deeply grateful for our teachers who do the job because of their passion for teaching and passion for young people, and we want them to be able to reach their potential as well as teachers by not having to worry about all these additional subjects, all these additional clutter, which really takes them away from being able to teach those core competencies.